Nice. Today we are going to talk about Firebase Authentication in SwiftUI. This video is sponsored by myself. Go ahead and check out my mentoring sessions at rebeloper.com/mentoring if you need any help in iOS development or in SwiftUI in general, or it's just Swift. Go ahead and check it out. It's at rebeloper.com/mentoring. Now, today we are going to talk about Firebase Auth. So we are going to build out a demo project, and I'm going to show you exactly how you need to handle authentication with Firebase. We are going to use the email and password sign in, and we are going to do that with a demo project in Xcode. So for now, let's just go to firebase.google.com, sign in if you haven't already done so, and then click on this go to console, and we are going to add a new project. But that project, let's just click on here, needs a name, and it will of course need a bundle identifier. So for that, let's create a new Xcode project. Let's create that new project, app, next, and let's name this Firebase Auth Demo. Okay, that's fine. SwiftUI and language is Swift. Let's click on next over here, and let's drop it onto our desktop right over there. Okay, let's create that, and let's do a little bit of cleanup so we may have a little bit more room to our code, because we are going to set up some views right over here. But before we do that, let's create our Firebase Auth demo project inside the Firebase dashboard. So let's go back to Safari and let's just paste that in. I just copied out my bundle identifier. This is how I just usually do that. Just delete what's not important. I will not enable Google Analytics for this project. This is just a demo project. And yeah, it's just going to prepare the project. And while we do that, let's just go and import Firebase. Let's just see package dependencies. Well, actually, let's just go ahead and take the steps one by one as they come up with the setup on the dashboard. So here we are. Let's click on iOS. As you can see, we can also have Android, Web, Unity, and Flutter. Let's just start off with an iOS application. And now let's just paste that bundle identifier in, and then register the app. The app nickname and App Store ID are optional. If you want to have push notifications, then you can just add, for example, the App Store ID, because you need that later on. So next we download the Google Service Info plist file. This is going to basically link our project with the database, with the Firebase project created. So now what we have to do is just move that file into our Xcode project. Make sure that you select copy items if needed and create groups, and then the Firebase Auth demo target, of course. Let's click on finish right over here. If you are playing around with a lot of Google Service Info playlist files, like I am, then just please rename this to be just simply Google Service -info. Okay, so now that we have added that, let's click on next, and now let's add what I was trying to do seconds ago. Just copy out the repository name for the SDK and just select your project, package dependencies, click on the plus sign over here, and then just paste it in there in the search. And it's just going to pop up just like that. And usually I just go with up to next major version, because that will download the latest major version basically. And once I'm done with the project, I just set it to exact. So it will just not download the latest patches, so I don't have to worry about, I don't know, maybe breaking changes or something like that. It's working, and that's fine. Of course, if the client needs to update their project to the latest version, then again I set this to up to next major version, and then if necessary, or if there are any, I'm just going to do the fixes. Okay, while this is loading, let's just go back over here and click on next. And let's see what we have to do. So we have a Swift version, Objective-C version, and SwiftUI version of the initialization. Of course, because this is a SwiftUI project, we are going to use this one. So let me explain what we have over here. We actually need to launch Firebase app.configure when the app starts up. And that has to be done in 2 steps. We create an app delegate of type UI application delegate, and its application did finish launching with options. We just launch this, so Firebase app.configure. And how do we link this class to our SwiftUI project? Well, with the UI application delegate adapter. So let's just see if we have it right now. Okay, so basically what I need is Firebase Auth, and then just select Firebase Auth demo, and let's add the packages. In this series, I'm just going to talk about more, then I'm just going to add some more to this package. For now, Firebase Auth is more than enough. Or, well, actually, yeah, that's more than enough for now. We are going to link this to a database in upcoming sessions. So, let's do that. So I'm just going to create a file called app-delegate. Let's create a new file, Swift file, and then app-delegate. Let's create that. And then let's import SwiftUI and Firebase core and all of this. So I'm just copying this out and pasting it in there. Yeah, I'm just going to hit Control I over here to have a better indentation. And I usually like this to be on a one-liner. Okay, so that's how we configure. And this is how we are just going to add this delegate into this delegate adapter into our app. So let's go back to our app file right over here, and then just have UI application delegate adapter, the app delegate that we have just created, and then delegate. Okay. So now we should be ready. We should be connected already. So let's go and continue to console. There we go. And what we need to do next is basically enable authentication. So click right over here under build and select authentication, and then get started. And for now, let's just enable email and password. Click on the switch enable, let's save that. And now email and password has been enabled, which is really amazing. Now, this is everything we have to do to enable signing in, logging in with email and password. And now it's time to code a little bit. So here we have our content view. And basically what this authentication process will look like is that we are going to have an auth view. On that view, we are going to be able to sign in, or if we haven't signed up, then sign up. And once we do any of those, it will be dismissed. Well, we are just going to change it to our actual application content. Most probably, I don't know, let's just go with a profile view for now. We're going to expand upon that later on. So that would be the content. And on that profile, we would basically just log out. That's the whole idea of today's live video. So let's start building out some views. So let's create a new file. It will have SwiftUI view, and let's start off with the auth view. Okay, let's create that. And well, let me just add in here hello auth view, so we can see that if we are going to launch it or when we are going to launch it. Another SwiftUI view would be the profile view. Okay, and then profile view, hello profile view. Great. So now we need some sort of kind of a structure, class, or whatever where we are going to do the business logic of this authentication. So for that, I usually just create a controller. Let's just have an app controller, new file, Swift file, next app controller. This app controller, let's just import SwiftUI because it will be just a simple observable class Well, we don't need any superclass, but yeah, let's just continue with this, what we got from Xcode also auto completion. So we have this app controller. We're going to do some stuff with it, of course, but what we actually need to do is have it accessible throughout our application, also in the Auth view and the profile view. Therefore, I'm just going to go all the way up right over here where we are basically starting off our view hierarchy, the content view, and I'm going to initialize this. So add state private var app controller equals app controller. There we go. And now I'm just going to simply add it in as an environment. So environment app controller. By the way, this observable comes from the observation framework, which has been introduced in iOS 17. If you are planning to support previous versions, then instead of this, please use the environment object and all of its setup. It's quite the same. Okay. So now we have access to our app controller in our Auth view. So let's do that. Add environment app controller dot self private var app controller, and I'm just going to copy this line out and put it also into the profile. So this is how we're just going to access that observable. Great. So let's start building out our views, and let's start off with the Auth view. I just usually go with a VStack and then push everything down because it's easier for the DOM. So let's have a spacer there, and then let's have, because basically this is a sign in with email and password, let's just have these two text fields and the button that we can tap to have an action upon those two text fields. So let's just have our text field, first text field with the title key of email and then a binding. So we want to store our text, our email and password. So there are two ways of doing this. Either we are going to have them as state variables on this file, which I basically suggest, or you can just also store them in the app controller. So maybe you are going to use them later. But anyway, do not pass the email and password. Let's just do that. Let's do that. And along the way, I'm going to show you a cool trick how you can access bindings inside an environment. So on the app controller, let's just go back to the app controller. Let's create two variables, email, an empty string, and a password. Again, an empty string. Okay, so now we want to access it and bind it to our text field. There's a cool little trick over here. We want to have this as a bindable app controller. The app controller is just an environment. It's not a binding. So we want to make it a bindable, and then we can access our email and password. Okay, let's add maybe for the text field style, rounded border. Okay, and also let's add a simple padding on the VStack so we can just have that nice text field seen easily. Okay, let's basically duplicate this and replace the text field to a secure field, and then password, and then pass a word right over here. Okay, so now with that we have our two text fields, which one of those is of course the secure field for the password. Let's add a button, and I'm going to choose the one with the action and label. So for the label, I just want it to be really like all the way to the sides of our screen in width. So let's have a horizontal stack, and then have two spacers. So spacer here, let's duplicate that, and a text of, well, currently I'm just going to add it in the row like sign up, but we are going to change that. And for the button action, I'm going to create a function. So authenticate. Okay, and let's create that function over there. Okay, yes. So well, basically let's just try to build and run this. Uh, we did not set this up, so in the content view, instead of the vStack, for now, let's just present our Auth view. I'm going to set up some logic also over here, but for now, let's just see what the Auth view looks like. Let's just wait for it, but it has succeeded. Let me just move this out of my head, and yeah, let's just wait for this to launch. There we go. And we should see the elements at the bottom of our screen. Just wait for this. And there we go. We have an email and password, and then the sign up button. Okay, one thing that I would like to add there is that the sign up button should have a button style of bordered prominent. There we go. Let's build and run once more, and I think I'm really done with this UI. Okay, so this is how we would just sign up. But what if we want to log in, like we already have an account? Well, for that, we want to basically have another set of email and password, and then the sign up button should be sign in. So let's just set that up in this very single view. So let's have a state variable, private var is sign up. By default, that's set to false because usually people more often are going to log into your app. And then we are going to basically set the authentication action to be different and the text. So right over here, instead of just simply sign up, we're going to check is sign up. Then we're just going to say sign up, otherwise sign in. Okay, so that's obvious. And also right over here, we are going to create two new functions. So function sign up and then sign in. Sign in. There we go. Let me just show it to you so we may have a little bit more space over here. So if is sign up, then sign up, otherwise sign in. So here we have again the Turner operator for the authenticate action. Great. So still, how do we switch between these? Well, we should have another button right over here, a button, and then I'm just going to use the one with the title and action. And we are going to say is sign up. If we are signed up, what should we do? So if we are trying to sign up, then this button should be I already have an account, and otherwise I don't have an account. Okay, and the action will be basically is sign up dot toggle. So we're just going to simply toggle that is sign up Boolean value. Therefore, the button layout and its functionality will be different. So let's build and run and see if this all works as expected. There we go. I don't have an account. Okay. Sign up. I already have an account, so I just want to sign in. Basically, that's it. Really, really straightforward and nice. Okay. Maybe I'm just going to add padding on the top because yeah, I don't want to accidentally tap on the sign in button if I don't have an account and so forth. Okay. Great. This is really, really coming together. Now, signing in and signing up. Let's start off with the signing up. So, under the app controller, we want to actually import Firebase Auth because that's how we are going to sign up. And we're just going to copy these two functions out and paste them in there. So signing up, how do you actually sign up? Well, just go auth create user, and yeah, as you can see, we also have one with an asynchronous version. We either just go with the email and password and completion, or the one with the asynchronous throwing functionality. I'm just going to go with that. So sign up, async, and throws. So now we are just going to try await, auth create user with email and password, and it's going to return us an auth data result. So let me just pass in the email and password, and if we care about the auth data result, then we just do something. I don't care about it, so I'm just going to say the underscore equals that try await functionality. And this will basically just create a user for us. It's really, really fantastic. Now, let's do the same for the sign in. There we go. Again, try await auth dot sign in with email and password. There we go. And again, it's going to return an auth data result. I didn't really remember if it did, but it does. So I'm just going to have an email and password added in there, and then again underscore equals. Now that auth data results is storing the user and all of that stuff, but we don't need that. We are going to check against authentication state somewhere else, somehow, in another way. So let's just sign up and sign in. And also, while we are here, let's just go ahead and sign out. Okay, I believe this is just a throwing function. So if I remember correctly, so auth try auth sign out. There we go. It's just a throwing function. Great. So this is how we are going to sign out. Now, on the auth view, let's just add our sign in app controller. So we just say we are going to create the task because this is going to be an asynchronous throwing function. Inside the task, I'm going to add a do catch statement. Do catch. And currently, I'm just going to print out if there are any errors. Please make sure that you handle errors more robustly. Let's say just showing the user an alert, for example. So right over here, try await app controller dot sign up, and then try await app controller dot sign in. It's as easy as that. Now let's sign up. Let's build and run, and let's just sign up with some dummy email and password. So email, let's just go for maybe a dev@gmail.com, and some password over here. And yeah, I don't have an account, so I'm just going to switch and let's sign up. Okay, hopefully everything went okay. We did not set up the logic just yet, but let's double check on the database. So, well, on the Firebase part of the authentication. So dev@gmail.com, here is our user UID, which we are going to use later on. That's perfectly fine. Yes, we are done. So next time, what we have to do now is just log out, because yeah, we are already logged in. Firebase knows that we are logged in. What we have to do is have a log out button. So let's do that. Let's go and on the profile view, well, actually, I'm just going to have a vstack ended button. It's really, really straightforward. And then let's have this a button of log out. And then the action would be app controller dot sign out. And of course, this has to be inside the task. Well, not a task, a do catch statement, because this is just throwing. So do and try right over here. Try and catch the error if there is any error. Error.localized description is going to be printed out. Okay, so now let's just log out. I can just easily delete that user and create a new one. On the content view, let's just have our profile view so we can just easily log out. Of course, we are not going to see anything. I'm just going to click on logout right over here and nothing is going to change, which is fine for now. Now I can just easily remove this. We can just delete that account so we can just test it out again. Okay, so we just switch here between Auth view and profile view. Well, how can we do this like really programmatically? Well, for that we need to listen to the authentication changes. Let's go back to the app controller, and on the app controller, when we are going to initialize it, so right over here on the init, I'm going to listen to auth changes. Okay, listen to auth changes, and let's create that function right over here. Listen to auth changes. Okay, so when this app controller is created, we are automatically going to listen to auth changes. So how many auth changes are there? How many auth states, I would rather say, are there? Well, of course, we are either logged in or logged out, so 2. And then there is also an undefined one, when we don't really know, because we did not get back any response from the Firebase servers just yet. So let's create an enum for that. So I'm going to add this right over here, an enum auth state case undefined authenticated and not authenticated. Okay, so we are going to set up an auth state right over here. So var, var auth state of type auth state, and its initial value will be undefined. So we are going to change this auth state according to the responses from our server. So how do we do that? Well, we just go auth.auth and listen, add state did change listener, and we are going to get back on the listener an auth object and an optional user. So auth and user. Okay, so how do we know that we are actually logged in or authenticated? Well, we are going to be authenticated when the user is not nil. Therefore, we are just going to say auth state, auth, there was a typo there, auth state equals, now if user is not nil, well, let's do the ternary operator. So if user is not nil, let's just see, equals, if user is not nil, question mark, then we are authenticated, otherwise we are not authenticated. Hopefully I set it up correctly. Let's see, yes, and because we are inside the completion handler, we want to have self over there, and that should do it basically. Okay, so now this auth state will automatically update itself whenever we are authenticating or whenever we are signing out, which is really, really nice. So let's come back to finally our content view. Instead of, hard coding this, let's just grab our app controller and use that auth state. So content view, let's have this app controller. So we are just going to create a group, and we're just going to switch through the app controllers. Why isn't it auto-completing. So we're switching through the app controller. There are three cases: case.undefined, app controller dot auth state. There we go. So we have the case of undefined. When we are undefined, I'm just going to make it simple. I'm just going to show a progress view, not a profile view, but the progress view. Usually this takes less than a second. We might not even see it. Case dot authenticated, or let's just start off with the not authenticated. We are going to have the auth view, and case dot authenticated, we are going to have our profile view. Okay, so now that we have logged out, we should see actually the auth view when we are building and running. Let's just see. And we have a crash. Let's just see what's going on. Application, if we didn't, well, we did that. Default Firebase apps instance must be configured before the default auth instance can be initialized one way. Okay, so okay, fair enough. What we have to do, let me just so what's the problem over here? Well, right over here we are initializing on the app delegate, but we are also creating the app controller, and the app controller is being created faster, so is the first that's being created, which actually needs the Firebase configure. Therefore, we should not add the initialize, like the listen to auth changes right over there. Basically, we can just remove this right now, and then on appear, so after the content view, or let's just go into the demo app. When this content view appeared, so we just go on appear, we are just going to say app controller dot listen to auth changes. Okay, so let's build and run one more time. Now the listen to auth changes should be called after the configuration has been created. Okay, so let's sign up. Let's say dev@gmail.com, password. Let me type that in correctly. And then I don't have an account, so let's just sign up. And after I sign up, as you can see, it just switched to the actual profile view. Let's double check if we have a signed up profile, a user, that's what they are called. Yes, here it is, okay. And once I log out, it should just log me out. And of course, because, you know, we just did not clean the context, the contents of these variables, it will be still there. So while convenient, I'm just going to click on sign in, and it should just sign me in again. Really, really nice. Okay, so let's log out, and just for you to prove it to you, I'm just going to build and run one more time, and then sign in. So dev@gmail.com. There's our password, and let's click on sign in. There we go. And that's how you actually do authentication with Firebase inside SwiftUI. If you do like this, hopefully you are going to check out our mentoring sessions. If you have any questions about SwiftUI or iOS in general, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring.